Hello lovelies, today I have got an eyeshadow palette collection video for you, and these are all going to be Highstreet palettes because unfortunately I don't have any high-end ones, which is really sad, but I've got loads to show you. Some of them are in here, some of them are on my bed because I don't want to fit in my Cath Kidston Winnie the Pooh makeup case, which is really cute, isn't it? I still have the label on because it's just so adorable. Anyway, let's get into it. So first up, let's start with my favourite eyeshadow brand, and that is probably not going to be a surprise to anyone who knows me, but it is Sleek. Now all of these look the same on the outside, they've all got that signature black packaging, but they are all very different on the inside. And I thought I would start off with my first ever Sleek palette, and one of my first ever proper eyeshadow palettes, and it is the Sleek Vintage Romance palette. Now actually I won this in a giveaway ages ago by a blogger called Rambling Makeup's giveaway called also Victoria, and it's this really, oh my god, it's so messy. I cleaned this before but it's got messy again. It's this really gorgeous kind of dark, just a very vibrant shades, and it's called the Vintage Romance palette. And as with all of my palettes, I tend to favour certain shades, so I quite like the silver and the gold on this side, but as you can see you have some really deep purples, and as I believe this is still a thing, like they still sell these because it's such a classic palette from them, and it's just gorgeous for kind of a really striking evening look. So next up is another Sleek palette, obviously. I've got 4 of them, and it is one that's deciding not to open, and I think this is my latest Sleek purchase, and it's the A New Day palette. I'm trying to not get eyeshadow all over my dress, but doesn't seem to be working out that way, and it has all these sort of gorgeous neutral type shades. It was part of a section, or a collection rather, not a section, a collection of 2 palettes, A New Day and I think maybe A New Night, something like that, and it just has really gorgeous colours and shades. But the thing is about this palette is, as opposed to other Sleek ones I've owned, I found that the pigmentation just isn't quite as good, and it's not as kind of like buttery or smooth as some of the other ones. It's just a bit kind of hard to get through, but their shades are gorgeous. I haven't really picked this up since I bought it, to be honest, but it is lovely. Next up is a Sleek palette that has actually broken. This is something I will say about the Sleek packaging, is even though it's quite sturdy, I have found that it breaks a lot, or it just gets jammed and stuff like that, and as you can see that happened. I didn't drop it or anything, it just kind of fell off. But this is the Oh So Special palette. It's one with kind of shades I don't really use as much because it's got quite sort of neon-y pink shades, but it is a good palette, like it's very pigmented. It's just one that I've kind of found I haven't really used as much, apart from the sort of purpley shades. And I mean, this is quite a running theme with my eyeshadow collection. I tend to buy a palette, I love how the colours look, and then I only end up using 1 or 2 shades that I fall in love with in the palette, which is really bad, but I'm just not that great with eyeshadow, so things like greens or purples can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. And on that note, let's look at one of the most gorgeous palettes I own, but one of the hardest to use, and it is my Garden of Eden palette. Yeah, and as you can see it has these gorgeous greens at the bottom and purples, and this sort of coppery gold shade that I have used to death. I love it so much, and this is just a palette I wish I'd used more often because it is gorgeous, but for the life of me I don't know how to use greens and purple. I need to step up my makeup game obviously, but it is a gorgeous palette. Honestly, Sleek are a great brand if you're looking for something on the high street that's good quality. They are kind of the best one that I've used so far. Next up is a new eyeshadow palette, and it is from Lottie London. Now, as I believe they've recently put out a new collection of eyeshadow palettes, so this is kind of from that, and it is the Rose Gold, I think it's Rose Gold, yeah, the Rose Gold, or Rose Golds, and it's basically very kind of nice, pretty gold shades, kind of similar to like one of the Naked palettes. But one of the things I found with this palette, and I will do a review on it, is the fallout is ridiculous. See, this was all covered in eyeshadow before I did this video, and I had to sort of clean it out and even now it has fallout, and it's just something to bear in mind. And also the pigmentation isn't the best I've ever tried, but it is a really lovely selection of shades, and I think if you use maybe an eyeshadow primer you can get away with it, but the fallout, beware the fallout. Next up is two of my absolute favourite eyeshadow palettes. They're new releases from Bourjois. I say new, but reasonably new. And it is the Petit Les Smoky and the Petit Les Nudes. And these little eyeshadow palettes are like my favourite thing ever. I've been saying for the longest time that Bourjois should come out with eyeshadow palettes because they only really do sort of quads or like smoky eye kits, and I was so happy to see this when they're out. Can we talk about how cute the packaging is? I'm in love. And one of the things that's really cool is that you can kind of, when you pick it up, it sort of swivels round the mirror, so it can go in all different angles, and it's really kind of cute and compact. And the smoky one is probably the one I use less, just because I don't do a smoky eye that often unless I'm going out or something. But these shades are just so pigmented. I'll show you the other one because it's my favourite, and it's the Petit Les Nudes. They're just really, oh my god, it's so much more messy than the other one. This is the Petit Les Nudes, and the shades are just gorgeous, including this one. They're really lovely, really pigmented, really kind of soft and easy to apply, and I just really recommend these. They're also great as a sort of little kind of compact eyeshadow that you can take around with you. They're great for travelling and everything, and they're just so adorable too. Next up is one that I haven't been that impressed with, and I'm only going to talk about really quickly, and it is the Primark little matte eyeshadow. Honestly, one of the things that's most annoying about this is how tiny the kind of eyeshadow space is. It's very hard to actually get product out, and so far it hasn't been so pigmented, but I'm planning to do a video on Primark makeup, like testing it out and first impressions, etc, so I will save that for then. An eyeshadow palette I've heard really mixed reviews about is the Blush Nudes Maybelline New York eyeshadow palette, and as you can tell this has some really, I'm trying to open it, oh why won't it open, hang on, there you go, got it. And it has some really gorgeous, beautiful shades. I mean, it is just the nicest looking palette with the kind of rose gold and everything. But I found personally, I've heard some people get really well with it, but I've just found that the pigmentation, the colour payoff is just not what I would expect if you compare it to a Sleek palette, which is in a similar price range. But it's such a shame because these shades are so gorgeous, but honestly, I just don't think the pigmentation is there. And although I pick it up every now and then, it's more because I love the shades and not really because I enjoy wearing them, because I just find that they don't last very long at all. Next up is the two last palettes of this video, and one of them is a Makeup Revolution palette. Well, two of them are Makeup Revolution palettes, what am I saying? One of them is actually one that I kind of bought on a whim for Halloween, and I haven't really used since. Maybe I'll use it again at Halloween, and it's called the Dead or Alive eyeshadow palette. Now, if you don't know Makeup Revolution, they are a super cheap brand, and they have pretty good quality for what they are. Usually you get lots of shades, really cheap price, pretty pigmented, can't really complain. And I would have used this one more, but it's more like Halloween-y shades, as you can probably guess, so that will be coming out at Halloween probably. My first Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palette was Run Boy Run, and this one I've actually used quite a bit. As you can see, it has shimmer shades, it has 12 shimmer shades and 6 matte shades, which is really good value because I remember it being super cheap. And it's just a pretty good palette. It's not like mind-blowingly good, but for the price, I think you're really getting something special in terms of the kind of budget makeup brands. I mean, that said, I actually had a Moi eyeshadow palette somewhere, don't know where it went, and it was one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes, and it was a complete bargain. So with eyeshadow you really can get a good palette for a ridiculously low price, so that's something to bear in mind. Now, the last eyeshadow palette I have is my Soap & Glory Kick Into Neutral eyeshadow palette, and it's the only one here that's a cardboard case, which is quite interesting because it's one of the most expensive, or if not the most expensive. And it's got these really gorgeous sort of neutral shades, as you can expect from the name, and I do like these eyeshadows, they are good, but again, compared to Sleek, they just don't really compare for me. I mean, I love everything that Soap & Glory does, to be honest, because they're just really good with makeup, but I found that considering eyeshadow palettes are the thing I get most excited about, it just hasn't really, I don't know, maybe I haven't got excited about it because it's a neutral palette, I don't know, but it's good, it's just not amazing. I need to buy one of their palettes again. So that's something to bear in mind. I also just don't like cardboard packaging. I just like the plastic ones a bit more because these always get scuffed and a bit damaged. I mean, this one's quite new, so that hasn't happened yet, but I just think for a kind of more upmarket price, they should really do it in plastic. Okay, lovely. So that is all of my eyeshadow palettes, as you've seen. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know what eyeshadow palettes you like, whether it's high street or high end. What should I be buying? But anyway, thank you for watching, lovelies. Bye!